Now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 years ago, Counter-Strike saw its second port to console, with CSGO releasing on the Xbox 360 and PS3. Now, this specific port of CSGO to console wasn't actually created by Valve devs, more so by Hidden Path Entertainment. But these were also the days of Counter-Strike still trying to find its niche, as well as become mainstream. Now, if you fast forward to the present of 2024, Counter-Strike is one of very few titles of successful franchises that is yet to be cross-platform, or have an active port of the current game, that being on console. They obviously wouldn't be on the same servers, definitely by default won't be playing the same people on PC versus a controller, but maybe have that option too. For the most part, it makes sense, since Counter-Strike is designed for mouse and keyboard only. That of course being in-game, but also out of the game with the in-game economy, specifically the skins market, which this also leads to a question that I've had as well as I've seen go around the community for quite some time. And that is Valve missing out on big profit? That being in player count, but also total cash from cases and microtransactions every year. And that mainly stemming from the point, if Counter-Strike was on console, would Valve be seeing the player count rise, but also grow with microtransactions? Now the reason I mention this is because Riot Games, the creator of Valorant, essentially Counter-Strike's competition the last few years, has just announced and released a beta for a real console port of Valorant, not some garbage, half-assed, unsupported version of the game. Yet the same game, but built and designed for console for controllers with its own dedicated servers. And maybe at launch or sometime in the future, we'll have the option to queue and play with people on PC. Today's video, there's much to discuss. I want to break down Riot Games announcing their new port of Valorant to console, of one, what that will do for Valorant and their community, but also Counter-Strike as a whole. Will this push Valve to maybe do something similar in the future, by giving console owners the ability to own and play Counter-Strike? And if that's the case, what it will do for our community. Now today's video sponsor is SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a buying but most notably trading marketplace, that being for your CS2 items. You can trade off your old skins for something new. All you do is log in with Steam, you start a trade, and any cash remaining goes to your available balance on the site. When it comes to trading an item you don't have enough balance for on the site, SkinsMonkey has a large variety of deposit options. By using my code MANDO, you can get up to a free $5, and by depositing alongside using my code, you get an additional 35% of a deposit bonus. With SkinsMonkey's large variety of skins, they also offer daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways. If interested, the link will be in the top of the description down below. Firstly, for today's video is Riot Games' announcement. Every major esports news outlet has written an article on this so far. Riot Games, just as of yesterday, made this announcement. They've already had a select few of creators to try it out in person, and for the most part, they've enjoyed it aside from early access bugs and optimization. Now, like we mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is essentially just Valorant for PC, but now for console. But the reason I mentioned the obvious is because in the past, where you had games like Counter-Strike ported over to console, it didn't really feel like a controller game. It did not feel native. The movement, the aim, the menus were all clunky and the exact same as PC, and no effort was made to make it different just for console. So this going forward for the future, if Counter-Strike and Valve were to do this, that being to port CS2 over to console, it's very possible to make the game feel native to controller. And it seems like Riot Games isn't just cooking a half-baked product to make a quick buck on the wrong market of players. Now the question I've had for the last couple of days ever since this announcement took place is how will this, when it's fully released, affect CS2 for the short term, but also the long run of things? Now for the short term of things, when Valorant releases to console, it's not really much that the players from PC that already play CS2, and maybe even Valorant, are going to go play specifically on console for Valorant, but more so in the long run of things, CS won't just be losing current players, but also new possible players that would one day want to try out CS and build a PC maybe just for this game, or try it out alongside the dozens of other options they have. And now that there's a really big esport for console, that's not like Call of Duty or Rainbow Six Siege, where devs actually seem to care about their game, have an anti-cheat, have weekly, monthly, and yearly huge updates. It's just one more incentive over the other. Now a question I have for the community, but also you guys the viewer, is if Valve makes a port of CS2 for console, would it be obvious they're copying Valorant, and would Valve even do this in a realistic world? Now in my answer to this, I think it all depends on when they would release it. In my opinion, if this came out in 2 years, then yes, it's going to be pretty obvious that Valve is going to be trying to capitalize on the console market, but also on the other hand, they're going to be copying Riot Games if they do so, and they're probably going to receive a lot of controversy, a lot of backlash. But when doesn't Valve? That's also my question. And if Valve were to release Counter-Strike 2 on console in the next few months, though it's highly unlikely, then obviously it wouldn't be so obvious. Now the reason I bother to even say it's not impossible, but it's just unlikely, is that a mobile port of Counter-Strike 2 was leaked and rumored through data mines just a few months ago, more so right before and during CS2's initial release of the limited test. Now I'm not 100% certain, but if that mobile port was for now what you can do with NVIDIA Remote Play, or something along the lines of that, then I'm not really sure if we're ever going to see a console port of Counter-Strike, at least ever again, and specifically also being by Valve and not some other third party. Now for the short term of things as well, I think if Valve did this, in my opinion, it would definitely impact CS2 on PC, that being in a negative way, at least for the short term of things. Especially if the same dev team that works on CS2 right now on PC is also going to be working on the console port, mainly because of already the lack of support and new features and content we're already currently getting inside Counter-Strike 2 in the present day. Now as a selling pitch towards Valve, but also answering just the long lost question, how would this benefit Counter-Strike as a franchise if it was ported over to console, that being Ps5, the new Xboxes, and the later consoles down the road? Now this is me in the post edit more so answering this and giving my own take that's kind of off script. Having CS2 on console with its own unique matchmaking, sprays for weapons, yet still connected to PC with the skin economy would just be amazing. It's just skins on console for the most part, at least in my opinion, wouldn't work due to the laws of countries, but mainly consoles have in place right now. Because it wouldn't just be Valve and Steam that has to deal with the backlash and controversy around cases. No, now it would be PlayStation and Xbox that would also have to refund people, deal with all the microtransactions behind the scenes, and negative press those come along with. Because as much good skins have done for Counter-Strike over the last decade, they've also caused a decent amount of backlash. Now the popularity for tournaments and content would skyrocket all across the board, and obviously not all of these would have direct ties to PC, but tournaments for PC players versus amazing controller players would be insane to watch, and the Counter-Strike economy would be booming higher than Metro. If Valve somehow were able to convince Sony, as well as Xbox, to allow skins on console, I believe Valve in the long term would actually lose a lot of money, especially if these skins were connected to the regular normal PC market, because in my eyes, a lot of people from PC would try and switch to console to do a lot of duplication glitches, and overall just a lot of fraud. But if we thought CS2's release for skins was crazy, CS2 free on console would bury that with cash for Valve. At the end of the day, I think it's definitely possible, but at the moment, Valve just has way too much on their plate. Valve still has to fix the game, add missing features and content from CSGO, and add some new goods to the table as well. Let alone we need a working anti-cheat. And releasing Counter-Strike 2 in the state that it's in, if not worse, to console, especially by some other third-party company, without an anti-cheat, Valorant would definitely take the edge. People would want to play Valorant, especially if there is cheaters vested in CS2 on console, but it just wouldn't be a completed product. Honestly, for me, as it stands for Valorant moving its way to console, I'm actually really excited for those players being able to experience a PC exclusive like Valorant on Ps5 or Xbox. Now this, in my eyes, I think is something Valve should definitely consider. That being to grow Counter-Strike in the economy side, its player count, viewer base, and just overall exposure. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'd definitely love to see CS2 one day ported to console, but only time will tell, and at the end of the day, it is Valve. For all we know, in just a few days, they could come out of the blue and release it for PS5. Now these next couple of weeks for videos are going to be kind of weird. I'm not in my current normal setup, so the microphone I know probably sounds a little bit different. In just a couple weeks time, Counter-Strike's 25th anniversary is coming up, so expect a video then, and maybe a surprise birthday update by Valve. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay positive, stay sexy. I'm out, guys. Peace.